Welcome to Borak Projex, your favorite project management podcast, where we go beyond project charters and charts and deep into the minds of programs and project management icons and leaders. I am Alex Zulkarnain, your host and your fellow project practitioner, and this podcast is brought to you by PXP, Project Excellence Partners, your trusted partner in project excellence. In every episode, we will sit down with real builders and champions of progress, the Otais, the sorcerers, the superheroes of the project management world, to unpack and learn what it really takes to deliver projects successfully. No fluffs, just real talk straight from experience. Now, are you ready? Let's bring it on. This special guest of Borak Projex is a solid figure in project management. Known him when he was the project management main assessor in Petronas. He is a project management consultant with more than 40 years of experience. It is my honor to introduce to you Edwanee Cheah.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Thanks.
bro.
No, my pleasure.
Big bro, my big bro. In this episode, we santai-santai. You can use mixed language if you want.
Okay.
So it's a conversation. Our audience mainly are the project practitioners, mostly young project engineers and project managers. So, Encik Edwanee.
Yes.
Tell us about your background, where you're from and whatnot.
Well, I'm a Malaysian. I was born in Pulau Pinang. Yeah, but I spent the last 40 years traveling around. Yeah, so that's thanks to Shell. So yeah.
So you started your career with Shell before?
Yeah. You want me to go into it a bit now? Or?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Yeah. I actually joined Shell in Brunei.
Oh.
They had the first LNG plant there. So that was exciting because as a young engineer, not knowing my way, that plant eventually became basically the what they call the stepping stone for Shell to move into the LNG world. Because those days, when they started, there was competing processes with Sonatrach in Algeria and Exxon in Libya. They were using different processes. So Shell partnered with, if you know, a company called APCI, it's Air Products.
Yeah.
So they came up with the multi-refrigerant process, and that became the sustainable process, which is now used worldwide. The one by Sonatrach and Exxon, I think they had a lot of major failures. So everybody switched to the multi-component refrigerant, they call it MCR process, that Shell picked up.
So you are an engineer?
Yes, I'm a mechanical engineer by training. Yeah, but after that, I moved into all sorts of things. So maybe if I can share with you what happened after that. So I worked in Brunei for 3 years plus. That was around the time where what they call Petronas started the production sharing contract. So Shell being on both sides, Brunei and Malaysia. So I was called back basically on national service to come work in Malaysia. It was interesting because in those days, I think Shell was doing it based on what they call it, the licensing or the concession, on the concession basis. So the switch to production sharing contract was interesting because I think Pertamina started it in Indonesia. Petronas picked it up. They modified it. I think the Pertamina contract was quite what they call onerous on the operators. So when Shell and Petronas, actually the two of them worked out the deal, and it became a workable PSC. So when I moved back, the interesting thing is that we were transferring projects done by Brunei Shell into Sarawak Shell. Because at that time they were, because the location of Brunei, they were serving both Sabah Shell and Sarawak Shell. So when I went back there, so we started picking it up, carrying drawings, everything from Brunei across to the border to Miri and so on. My first period there, we were basically growing on what had already started. So they switched from concession to PSC. So if you're familiar with offshore Sarawak and Sabah, the fields are like West Lutong, Baram. In Sabah, they have the Samarang, very shallow water things there. So that was the first phase that we picked up. Then after that, we moved into gas. That was the start of the MLNG Satu. So that if you move along the coast of Sarawak, instead of Miri, now the attention was going more into Bintulu. So the oil was also moving towards there. So I was involved in fields like I became a project manager for what they call it, D35, Bayan, and so on. And then at the same time, we were also picking up work on E11, F6, F23. I mean, those are the major gas fields of Sarawak, and they're still operating today. More than 40 years, they're still operating. So for that period, I was actually posted to work in Singapore, but that was also the time that we were moving into Malaysia. And I still remember a colleague of mine started his first project for Malaysia shipyard called the Tukau Living Quarters, and that was how Malaysia they were actually shipbuilding and ship repairs before they became what they call these days MMHE. MMHE. Yeah. So they did a transformation as well, and we too, for Malaysianization, we shifted everything from Singapore into Malaysia. Now, after that, the gas business really picked up. Yeah, the Koreans wanted a lot of gas. That's where we started MLNG Dua. So for that, what they did was that they gave us a very, very strict timeline to what they call produce the gas. So for that, we had to scratch our head and see how we're going to make the deadline. So what we had to do is we came up with all kinds of different concepts. So those familiar with the industry will have heard of this thing called the float over platform. So we actually pioneered that, the float over platform. But because the workload was severe, quite a lot, and the Malaysian shipyards were not quite ready to take the load, because if you are loading something out onto the barge on the quayside, your ship piling has to be strong enough. So it's the first time that we're going to build something more than 10,000 tons of topside in Malaysia. So they were struggling to keep up with getting themselves ready. So we in the end decided that we will do the two big platforms. I think it's called M1 and M3. So M3 stayed in Malaysia, and I took a team to Korea in the Samsung yard to do M1. So I spent 3-4 years there building M1 and so on.
So LNG Dua, you were involved, huh?
Yes, I was.
I was there too at the tail end.
At the tail end.
That's where I started my journey as a project guy.
Okay.
But onshore, the LNG plant. Yeah.
The famous one in Bintulu, is it? The one they had, I think they had a big arbitration case with the one that the Italian contractor, I think. Maybe it's too long.
My full cycle is LNG Tiga.
LNG Tiga, okay. Now, after that, I think Shell decided that I've had enough here, so I was posted to be in our headquarters in The Hague in Netherlands.
What year was it?
I left around 2000. Yeah, and I was there about 6 years or so. So there I became a global consultant, and it's fun times traveling around the world. Wherever Shell was, I went. Yeah, so you get to see really very hot places like in Oman, and we had already some work in Iran, and the really cold places in Russia like Siberia, Sakhalin, and the really strong weather in the North Sea. Yeah, really strong winds and so on. So it's interesting career I had with Shell.
Wow. And I understand you were an SSO, right, for Petronas, for the capability of the technical professionals.
Yeah. I did.
Tell us about that. How did that started?
Well, actually, what happened was I was about to officially retire, and then I have some, because of my work in Malaysia, I have some friends here. I was supposed to go work on the project called Bumusuk Kakap, but I didn't. So I picked up the all the loose ends and do something what you're doing now. I set up my own project management consultancy. Yeah, so my friends in the Petronas who know what I can do asked me to come and do the assessment for the more senior people from P6 upwards. So I was sort of assessing managers up to GMs and so on. Interesting. I must say that we have got some really good Malaysian project managers. Yeah, but overall, the younger ones, I just feel that there's something which I won't call gaps, but there are areas that they need to improve. Yeah, I would blame in a way our educational system for that, because when you move into the real world, especially when doing project management, you need to have what we call critical thinking. Yeah, so where you analyze, you evaluate, and so on, look at concepts and so on, and make decisions. Our engineers, the younger ones, tend to like what they do in the SPM or the SPM, look for one answer. Yeah, so they study very hard. Their focus is on getting 10 A's or 11 A's. So when they come up into the real world, I think that even these people with very good results, they struggle a little bit to find a place in the real world. And so an experience I had when I was in Shell, we went around all the universities in Malaysia. We're trying to look for potential to recruit. And we interviewed the potentially what they call first-class honors students. So we did all the universities, maybe about 5, 6 per university. And in the end, I think we interviewed about 120. Shell has very strict recruitment criteria. So based on our criteria, there was only one guy who could make it.
Out of the 120.
Yes. But in the end, we had to adjust to the local setting. So I went back, and I think we recruited in the end maybe about 8 or 9 of them.
Yeah, but Shell still doing that, or the big companies still doing this?
I don't know, but this thing we call the milk run. We go around and really milk the universities, it's quite successful. I think they did quite a lot to bring up the experts, people who are technically strong. I remember there was this reservoir engineer, a lady from, can't remember from which year, but she was from Kelantan. Her English was not up to it, but I could converse Bahasa with her, but my expatriate colleagues, they had no clue of what she knows. So we recruited her, but the first year we sent her to a proper English for English training. The last I heard, she was doing very well in Shell. Yeah, so I'm very happy about that.
Oh, good. Yeah, you were my SSO as well.
you did very well.
I did my SSO when I was.
You did very well, Alex.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm proud of that.
So maybe I can share with you some interesting experience I had.
Yes,
I can
please.
share. My first job in the Brunei LNG, although I was just a trainee engineer, but because that project is a high-profile project, when I went in, out of the 5 trains they were going to build, they had built 2. So I was involved in the construction of the 3rd train. And then the first train had done 10,000 running hours. So it's due for inspection. So a lot of experts from Shell Holland flew over for the shutdown. So these guys are a bit, believe me, they are real experts. Yeah, so there was a Polish guy. Legend has it that he's a specialist in rotating equipment engineer. The legend has it that he can take a coin, put on the bearing, and tell you whether or not the bearing is due to be changed. Well, that's legend. So, but what happened was that they had like in LNG, so they had steam boilers.
Yeah.
So one of the occasions was that the boiler shut down. So I accompanied it's a stock boiler, a Dutch boiler. So I accompanied the Dutch engineer for the inspection. So they had a huge upper drum at the top. So I went in. I think the manhole was probably about 28-inch manhole. I could go in those days. So I went in and looked at. So in those days, I had drawings which I can compare with, and they also gave me a Polaroid camera just to take a shot of whatever I see. So I saw something not quite usual. I think it was cracks and whatever. So I came up to this Dutch guy. He's quite a big guy, 6-footer and so on.
They're all tall.
Yeah, all tall. Yes. Yeah. So I showed him the picture I took, and he looked quite concerned because it's the first time they run that particular boiler. It's a very, I think the LNG they run steam turbines to run the compressors. So this is very high pressure. I think temperature was probably nearly at 900 Fahrenheit, so 400 over Celsius and so on. But so he wanted to go into that hole, 28-inch hole, a big guy, you know. And all his colleagues were all looking at him. Are you sure you want to do that? No? But he said, I have to do it. So he went in, had a look and so on. I think this was sometime middle of the day. Yeah. And he couldn't come out. And this is actually boilers which are about 3 inches thick because of the pressure and temperature that it has to carry the steam. So we really struggled. We greased the manhole, and I went in there to push it, so he couldn't come up. So we all sitting thinking what to do, and everybody who was involved in the shutdown, it became like a showtime. Everybody had a laugh at him and so on, but he couldn't come up. So we are really looking at what we're going to do next, because in the worst case, we may have to cut open the boiler. It's a 3-inch thick thing.
Don't give him food and stuff a bit.
Yeah, some of them were laughing, asking to sign the wheel kind of thing. but I think we let the weather cool down. So the as the temperature drop, I think although the even it cools down, it should contract. Yeah. But I think because of it's probably both ways contract. So that I think the hole became slightly bigger. So we pulled him out. He took off he actually was down to his panties. So greased the manhole and pulled him out. He had a lot of bruises, whatever. But that was quite an experience.
I bet that's the last manhole he went in.
Well, I don't know. That was a good. They're all very, very experienced engineers that we dealt with. Another one, maybe in off Miri. That time, I was heading one of the offshore construction group, looking after hookup and commissioning. So at the same time, I was also that weekend carrying the pager as a emergency coordinator. We take turns to do that. So that night, I can't remember whether it's Christmas Eve or it was New Year's Eve. We had a big party at the golf club, and I happened to carry the pager for the emergency coordinator, and I also have a phone because when my barge is working, I get calls as well. Both rang about the same time because the weather was really bad. It was raining, and I mean, even at the golf club, we had to move indoors and so on. And what had happened is that they had a very bad accident in Borak. So if you, I think it was this barge, it was one of the brown root barge. They must be about 500 feet long, parked next to Baram A, I still remember, Baram A and BADPA, I think. And they had lost, I think for those barges, they have 8 anchors. So I think they lost 4 of them, and they're trying to pull away. Eventually, they were down to just 2 anchors on the starboard side, and the wind was blowing it against the platform. So they winched it off. And what happened is that, we had a very experienced superintendent, so he knew what he was doing. But even as he winched away, the edge of the barge hit the platform, and they had they use boat landing to protect risers and all the pipelines and so on. So they ripped off the barge, it was just a swing, but they didn't hit it completely, ripped off the whole boat landing. So behind it were all the gas risers. So what had happened is that they were not sure whether or not they released any of the gas. And this was about midnight. So me and my boss happened to be at the party. We dragged ourselves to the command center and start calling everybody. So the thing is that we are not sure whether they release gas. So we started talking to them. I said, look, what you need to do is shut off everything. There are 200 people there. So shut off everything in case of any gas leak in contact with any source of the ignition. So they didn't know. They don't know what to do. We spoke about it. So everybody put on their life jacket, the life raft all ready to launch, and they pulled away. I think they were about 1,000 meters away, just waiting in the dark, hoping that nothing happens. Then in the meantime, helicopters were all standing by to come and pick them up. But because it was, they couldn't land on the helicopter deck of the platform in Baram, so they couldn't do anything. They just talking to them, and they normally have a tugboat there, but because the sea was so bad, the tugboat had to go off as well. You couldn't come near. Yeah. So they waited basically overnight until daylight, so that people can go and inspect whether or not there was gas leakage. Okay, fortunately there wasn't. But I always remember that because that night there are 200 people on that barge, just probably praying very hard. That was a interesting experience.
Yeah. I bet you get many more.
Yeah, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me rewind a bit. I'm always intrigued when I call up my guests and wanting to know what their hobbies are.
Oh, okay.
What are your hobbies?
Well, I've changed hobbies over the years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as I give a bit of hint early on about the golf club. I used to play a lot of golf. I played so much that they made me the captain of the golf club then. Yeah, but after I left the club, when I went to Holland, so on, it's very little opportunity to play there. So I eventually gave up the game. Well, these days I just do things to keep myself fit. So every morning I will go run up. We have a hill next to our apartment, 1 in 10. So not too bad the hill to run. So I do that every morning when I'm not working. Yeah, so that you can call that to be my hobby.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Now, let's talk about the project management talents.
Okay,
I think that's
okay.
one of your fortes.
Yeah, okay.
What are the capability that is lacking in our project engineers or project managers in Malaysia?
Okay. I do the assessment every year. I will do maybe about 40, 30, 40. So by now I've done over 300 of them,
Wow.
including some repeat customers. But so at the end of each year, I will have to present to the senior managers on my findings. And I have one slide. Basically, it's my own observation on what are the shortcomings. And that slide reads, if I can recall, because I keep putting that slide year after year. I don't see much change. The first item there is that I would say that they lack critical thinking skills. And the next one is they need to grow their strategic mindset. So meaning that what they call sacrificing the short-term gain for the longer-term gains. So that I think that has something to do with the way management team is structured in those days, and I think they're correcting it now. That the project managers tend to do a lot of the execution. They are very good execution project managers, but they don't get involved in the front end. Yeah. So I think because of that, they're more just trying to chase the autobots, what they call chasing the time, the budget,
budget, on scope.
And the scope and so on. So when you do that, you don't really think strategically. Yeah, and moreover, it's set up such that the project managers, they take project very much with all the what they call all the KPIs all lined up. Yeah, so that's very little value or gain for them individually to try and increase the project value through whatever exercise that they can go through. Yeah, so that's one thing. The other thing is, maybe like I say, it is very much our educational institutions are set up or not set up. When you come up to work, especially in project management, the thing that you will always be asked is, are you good in financial management? Yeah. And the other thing will be about risk management. I find those two areas a bit lacking. Yeah. And it's not the fault of the individual. It's the way they are trained, it's the way they are put into the organization. So I'm doing my part to try and help them to in that sense. Yeah. So yeah, in summary, those are the two areas. I mean, it sounds simple, but it is quite a difficult thing to overcome.
Yeah. You mentioned risk management, and I understand that you are a proponent of risk culture, project risk culture. Can you share what you can share to our audience here? What is risk culture?
Okay. Interestingly enough, last year I spent about 6 months working with the PDEX group in the Petronas. I think you used to be the boss of PDEX, right? So yeah. So what they're trying to do is actually to what they call raise the awareness of risk culture. I mean, the way that we did in the past for HSC, health, safety, and environment. Yeah. So the and I think they understood that if you want to create a culture or you want to have a good culture, it takes time. Yeah. So we went through that. I'm also a member of the IRM, what they stand for, the Institute of Risk Management from UK. Yeah, so I brought some of their their ideas into Petronas. So they now have some guidelines on how to progress. Yeah, so things like you need to set the tone from the top. Mm-hmm. So people, your senior managers, should be very clear on what are the expectations of risk. What is the risk appetite? Yeah, how much project managers can move into risk and so on. And the other thing is more on the culture of doing things repeatedly so that people know that that is associated with your company. I mean, if you talk about safety, HSC, people who are not from Petronas, they're always very impressed when they go to a Petronas site to see this, what they call, thousands of yellow coveralls everywhere. Everybody wears a helmet, the what they call the eye protection and so on. And it's that you go to places, you reverse park, and all those are, it's all culture. They do it naturally, without second thought. It's like second nature to them. We're trying to do something like that for risk. Yeah, unfortunately, what I call, with all the current things that are going on, so that exercise was not a priority. So it was stopped, I hope temporarily. But I did leave behind a thinking hat in the Petronas. So hopefully they're still wearing. So the suggestion is that they'll wear a cap which reads, "What can go wrong?" So like you're having a senior management meeting, the senior managers will take turn to wear that, and when they come to his turn, he should ask for any proposal, what can go wrong. So I just feel that symbols like a cap, a catchphrase like "what can go wrong," whatever, will help to promote the culture. So it's still a long way, but if Petronas achieve that, I think it will be they'll probably be the first to do it. Maybe even in the world, because I come from Shell. I don't think Shell has started a risk culture, basically actively pursuing a risk culture. I used to sit on the board of public listed company, so I'm aware of what happens out there, and okay, their what they call maturity on risk management is actually much lower than what's happening in the Petronas.
The risk cap sounds like one of the Edward de Bono's colored caps. I can't remember. Is it red?
No, it's not. It's something that I sort of, together with the team, we came out with that idea, and everybody thought it was a good idea. But it needs to be sustained. They need to do it repeatedly. I mean, if they stop doing it and they don't wear the hat, then it just dies naturally. Yeah.
Interesting.
But the other thing which I also been trying to get them to promote risk in a slightly different form. What we tend to do is that because we go through the steps of trying to the process of risk management. So when they have a project, they sit down and say, okay, at this phase, we identify what are the risks, we assess it, and we do all the mitigation and so on. And I mean, that's good for a start. But I keep telling them that you manage the risk process. It's the step you go through. But don't forget to manage the risk. Yeah. So my motto to them is that manage risk, not just the process. Yeah. Because I think maybe going back to what you say about some of the shortcomings of project managers, to some extent they're spoiled by the people like Petronas and Shell. Everything is all laid down. I always use this phrase to encourage the people to think. I say, you in Petronas or Shell, everything is set up. It's like crossing traffic lights. So when you hit a junction, you wait for the light, then you cross. I would like you to think more, they're going into a roundabout, whereby you have actually to decide when is the right time to go in. You need more driving skills and so on. So this thing about templating and so on, that you want to write a PEP, there's a template. You want to write a quality management, there's a template and so on. It's good for the young engineers as a guide, but if you are more than 10 years in you should be using it as a guide rather than just how to say, templating them.
They shouldn't see it as a constraint. It can be part of a creative process to make things faster or better, whatnot. Okay, that's great. You do coaching as well of young engineers.
You're
still doing
well coaching? as part of the assessment. I do actually coach them. Yeah, but we also before, and when I was in Shell, we were coaching the younger engineers, and a passion of mine is to coach people on the effective decision making. Yeah, I mean, you can make decision at many levels. Your decision at home, or decision as a professional. Yeah, but I would think that the process you go through depends very much on the impact of the risk on whatever you're achieving. Yeah. So because the thing about the way we run risk now, they don't really attach. There's no clear value attached to the risk. Yeah. I believe project managers or project engineers, they would like to know, if I don't arrest this risk, what is the impact to me? Or if I arrest this risk, how much would I save, and so on. So that is one thing which I keep promoting. And in fact, if you look at the ISO standards for risk management, it actually is quite clear. They imply in them that the value, what is the uncertainty impact on your objectives. So if you set up your autobots, I'm going to do it within this budget. I'm going to do it by a certain time. I got to do it by a certain quality. Yeah, so anything that risks those numbers is a risk. Yeah, so you then measure to see whether or not the value you get from exercising the mitigation is better than what you would do in terms of something going wrong. You know what I mean? So there has to be a balance. You don't spend a lot of money that at the end of the day you spend it more than the value that you can get. Yeah.
And there's this connotation that those who solve issues are more heroic than those who actually eliminate them from happening in the first place.
True. Yeah. That's
okay. So, do you have any tips for the young audience, our project engineers or young project managers, if they are starting off, what they should do? What are the essential things to look for?
Well, the really young engineers, they call it wet behind the ears, or whatever. I think first of all, they should go out into the field to actually touch and feel what is out there. I spent many years offshore, doing offshore construction. Yeah, this is a story. I was, they call it, I think you guys call it CSR for barge. So that time as young engineers, I have a back-to-back. So my back-to-back, we used to do a month on, a month off. So I did my month. Then at the third week of my month, my partner called me to tell me, bro, I'm getting married. Can you stay on another month? So there was a time I stayed 2 months in a row offshore, so that my bro can go get married. Going back to your question, I think they should really
dirty their hands.
Really dirty their hands and so on. Then the next level is that I think, like what I said earlier on, this thing about understanding what happens in the front end. You know, when you sit down and plan the project, whatever you decide up front is going to dictate the value you get at the end. Yeah, like I say, maybe example is that this float over thing that I mentioned, the float over platform. if we had not done what we call the front end loading, doing all the studies and also stakeholder management, because the issue there at that time was that inevitably we had to send one outside of Malaysia. So we actually went all the way to MITI and so on to basically engage them and basically set the value and so on. And this was in these days we call it in the FEL 2 stage. We haven't decided on the concept and so on. So at the end of the day, when that was set, it became. I mean, nowadays everybody talk about float over like they are doing something very very common. But in those days, it was quite a challenge. A lot of people didn't believe us that we could do it. So that is something that I think young engineers should always spend time looking at the front end, and then of course go through the motions of detailing it out, and then running contracts. I think that's very important. Running contracts, how to run contracts. I spent 1 year learning how to write contracts. So these are the sort of things that they should go through.
The shell and shoot. Yeah.
Sure.
Right. What's your view on successful projects? What are the key success factors
On projects?
on projects? How many are there? 4, 5 key success factors?
Well, I mean, the standard ones are what you guys call Autoboss. Yeah, I mean, those are the pretty standard. You need to have a budget, and once you approve the budget, meet those things, and the time and the specification. Well, specification meaning that when you think it's done, it works. I think overall, at the end of the day, is to manage the expectations of your stakeholders. Yeah. So managing the stakeholders' expectation is very much done upfront. Yeah. And if you looked at projects that have gone wrong, and then there are many of them, even outside oil and gas. I mean, you look at, for example, in Malaysia. I think when they started off, they were looking at a very, very low figure, probably something like 8 billion or whatever. And it's ended up, I don't know, 3 times, 4 times more than that. Yeah. So that part, and the other thing is that, sorry to say, but I think have a lot of what we call schedule-driven project. Yeah, you can't really try to fix the end date and ask the engineers to go and deliver it. I'm sure you've come across most of them. At the end of the day, they don't meet it. I mean, just basically fooling yourself. This guy, I work quite a bit with a guy called Ed Merrill. He's the boss of IPA, Video Analysis. And very often he goes give dinner speeches and so on. And one of the most famous phrase that he shared with the dinner audience is that speed kills. I mean, speed.
Yeah, literally as well as in projects.
Yeah. So if you try to go too fast, you're bound to fail. Yeah, don't fail.
Interesting. All right. Shall we go to the rapid fire?
Have we reached that point already?
Yeah. I can ask you more questions. There's a lot more if you want. Anything more to add on project management?
Well, like I
I'm
say,
open to you.
I could sit down and talk to you for days. Yeah, but please do your rapid fire.
What is the state of project management in Malaysia right now? Is it comparable to the international players? I mean, the Europeans.
You mean state in terms of what? Quality or
quality of the delivery and the people running projects.
I think one of the key things about delivering good projects is the quality of the contractor.
Mm-hmm.
You can't run away from that. If you have a good contractor, you as a project manager, you basically just
sleep well.
Sleep well. Yeah. So I think to answer your question, if you get a good quality contractor, I mean the projects here are as good as anywhere else in the world. if you look at the way we do our MRT and stuff, they are good contractors. In terms of oil and gas, I think we are still struggling a little bit because of how should I say, the willingness to invest to upgrade facilities. Yeah, I mean, like some of the shipyards, they still are holding back on investing on bigger cranes and things like that, and that doesn't help. That doesn't help because if I've got we got time for me to tell you a bit more story.
Yes.
Too many tools? Not enough clarity? Planoly is the no-code platform built for every workflow. Automate tasks, align teams, and move faster. Planoly, built to work your way.
When I was in Korea, the Koreans, they were building exactly the same platform as the one that's been built in Malaysia. The one in Malaysia is called M3. The one in Korea is called M1. And for the first 6 months of the project, my boss used to call me and say, "Hey, what the hell are you guys doing? You know that the Malaysian M3 is now 10%, you guys not started, 25%, you guys just 5%, and then on and on. And then it reached a certain point, suddenly the Korean progress caught up. Yeah, and then in the end, the Korean finished on time. Malaysian, they struggled a little bit. So at the end of the project, we compared some metrics, like in terms of the number of structural man hours that we needed to finish the project. I think the Koreans came up with something like certain main structures, like I think 1.2 million man hours for certain structures. And the same one, the Malaysians took double the number. So we did the analysis and we found out that, when you do offshore platform, you got several layers. Yeah. So in Malaysia, they do it in a way, the Malaysian style, kampung style, they just build as they stack up, put a lot of scaffolding and work their way up and up and up. So they spend a lot of man hours building the scaffolding, doing painting in a very awkward position, so it's not very efficient. And then they got repairs and so on and so forth. The Koreans, and I was there, they were very strict. They said, "Mr. Cheah, are you finished with this level? Because if you're finished, no more change orders." So what they do is they do each deck terbalik, upside down, and they will be welding everything on the ground. Mm-hmm. They will have pipe supports done, and they will slip the pipe support. So everything is all done. So when you're ready, they lift it. Mm-hmm. The problem that with the Malaysian contractors, that because once you put in all those things, it becomes very heavy. So they don't have the lifting capacity to basically, they need to lift it up and flip it over. Yeah. So they had to do it the Malaysian style, building their way up. So which is why for that LNG Dua platform, the Koreans were cheaper than the Malaysian yards. Yeah, I mean, these days I don't know whether it's comparable, but they're very efficient. The everything runs through the yard like a factory. So
I'm sure it has improved. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the rapid fire.
Yeah, sure.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Rapid fire is about giving your subconscious a chance to give the answer for you. Okay. But we don't need to speed through the rapid fire. You can actually explain why you choose one of the two phrases, words, or captions that I'm going to tell you. There's no right and wrong.
Okay, but is it all technical or is it?
It can be anything.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's try.
Let's have some fun here.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Black or white?
White.
Okay. You can tell us why if you want.
Oh, I see. Well, black is associated with the dark side.
Okay, purity lah, Pak.
Yeah. Purity.
Nothing to do with race. Yeah. Nasi lemak or roti canai telur?
The second one, roti canai.
Roti telur canai.
Yeah, because I'm not my wife can tell you I'm not a nasi lemak fan. Maybe because of the coconut or whatever. Yeah.
You allergic to coconut?
No, it's just that if the coconut is not so fresh, I get somewhat upset.
Oh, okay. All right. So roti canai it is. Europe or Asia?
I tend to go to Europe for my travels. Yeah, but having said that, a lot of people ask me why didn't I migrate. I still prefer to come back to Malaysia. Yeah, but okay. So it's not quite one straight answer.
Okay. Let me add a question. Korean or Japanese?
Korean or Japanese?
Not just food, it can be K-pop.
Yeah. Maybe Japanese.
Japanese.
I've dealt with a lot of Japanese, Korean contractors, and I find it more pleasant to deal with the Japanese. Well, I'm not sure whether pleasant is the correct word, but I think things are more straightforward.
Yeah.
You probably know what I mean.
Yes, I know what you mean. AI in project management or sustainability in project management?
I think we need to go for sustainability first before we switch to AI. To me, AI is definitely going to help us, but at the moment, it's still a big black hole. Yeah. So based on what I know now, I will go for sustainability.
Okay. Good. So, leading one mega project or leading a program with 1,000 of project.
If I want the challenge, I will pick the latter one of leading multiple projects. Because like when I assess the project managers, one of the things they look for, and this is something maybe for the learning, is that if you look for projects with complexities, there are more things can go wrong. Yeah. So I would pick that. If you like I say, if you get a good contractor running a large project, you can just relax and go for holidays.
So you're more a PMO guy than a PMT leader.
Yeah.
Okay. BMW or Mercedes?
A Mercedes. Yeah, I don't own either, but if I had to pick, I'll pick a Mercedes. Not true. I used to own 2 BMW when I was in Holland. It's quite cheap there. But I will go for the Mercedes. Yeah, to me, it stands for robustness.
Oh, I saw your Ferrari parked downstairs.
That's a Lamborghini.
Oh, Ferrari or Lamborghini? It's Lamborghini. Okay.
Imagine your data structured into clear training plans, business plans, strategic roadmaps, and beyond. All connected, all working together. Giliga, AI that becomes part of your workflow, not a replacement, but an evolution.
Watching football on TV or watching badminton on TV?
I would say badminton. Although I'm a football fan, but when it comes to watching, I think badminton is more exciting to watch live. Football, you can watch for 1.5 hours, 2 hours plus all the extra time, and sometimes you don't even see one goal.
True. James Bond or John Wick?
I think James Bond is more real. John Wick is a lot of violence.
Okay. That question might see the line between younger and
older.
No, kidding. Coffee or tea?
I'm a coffee person.
Oh, should have given you coffee.
No, I'm fine with tea as well. But I actually I limit the amount of coffee I take. I normally take one strong one in the morning.
Mm.
Yeah, if I if I for dinners, I would not take coffee because it does the caffeine affects my sleep. I think.
You stay awake more.
Yeah, I find it
Longer.
more difficult to sleep. Yeah.
All right. Teleportation or time travel?
I think time travel is more interesting because you go through the phases of time. Teleportation is just, you're there.
Yep. You don't have to fly.
Yeah, you have to fly.
Okay, fair enough. Manchester United or Liverpool?
I'm a Liverpool fan. So.
Oh,
Are you MU fan?
neither. I just want to divide my guess into two camps.
No, actually, I must say, I follow Liverpool because of my son. He's a Liverpool fan from young, so I was quite neutral. But after I need something to discuss with it because my son has always been away from me. So
It's more interesting if you are Manchester United and your son is Liverpool. It'll be good discussion or bantering.
Well, the thing that we when I visit him, my son is really a very hardcore Liverpool fan. He will not step near Old Trafford.
Ooh,
He will not step near.
very loyal.
Very loyal. So when I visit him, if you have to go and watch a match, we end up going to Anfield. My son is in UK anyway, so yeah.
Right. Okay. This is the last question. I remind you, there's no right and wrong, but please answer wisely.
What's the penalty?
Okay. Watching this episode of Borak Projex or going to a premiere of a latest Star Wars movie?
There's no more Star Wars anyway, so.
There are Star Wars.
Is it? No.
Yeah.
No, but
Few years back, yeah.
I would watch this one, partly to see how I made myself a fool.
No, we're doing well.
No. I'm just kidding. So,
But
no, I think
That's a wise answer.
okay.
So, thank you so much.
No, my pleasure.
Edwanee.
We could go on and on, but
Yeah.
I hope your audiences will find our discussion interesting.
I'm sure they will. Yep. Okay, that is a wrap for this episode of Borak Projex, where we keep it real, relevant, and relentlessly project driven. A massive thank you to our honorable guest, Edwanee Cheah, for sharing his insights that only experience and multiple scars can bring. If you got value from this conversation, please like, follow, share, or drop a comment. Do not keep excellence to yourself. I am Alex Zulkarnain, signing off. Until next time, stay professional, work with integrity, stay excellent, and remember, project leaders aren't born. They are built one lesson at a time. Thank you. Goodbye from Borak Projex. The numbers in letters and brackets in actual numerical.
Yeah.
They don't capture our voice. Yeah. So, no, it's okay. Never mind.
No, you have to.
All right. Thank you. Goodbye.
from Borak Projex.